Please welcome to the stage General Manager, Channel at Informa Connect, Kelly Danziger, and Vice President, Channel Events, Channel Partners, Bob DeMarzo.
All right, everybody, how are you? Give it up for Miles and Kaseya. Come on, you can do better than that. I thought he did a good job. Used to be a radio guy. All right, in a few seconds, we're going to bring up a great panel to talk about cybersecurity. This is a tradition that Kelly and I do at every event a couple of times. We bring up leaders from the channel, talk about the business, growth opportunities, get to know them a little bit. We've got Trend Micro, we have Fortinet, and we have Cato Networks. We have the three channel leaders. As we said this morning, the channel leaders are here. They're talking about their business. They're here to answer questions. This should be a free-flowing and fun conversation about the biggest, I would say, revenue area that hits your pocketbook in your business, which is cybersecurity. So without further ado, come on out, panelists. Give them a nice round of applause, everybody, and then we'll get into the Q&A. Nice to see you on the big stage.
Absolutely.
Ken, thank you.
Kelly.
Welcome.
Louise, come and sit.
Nice.
Here you go.
Welcome, everyone.
All right, welcome. We're going to get going. Kelly, I'm going to turn it over to you to break the ice.
We are going to jump right into this because these conversations tend to go really long and can continue to go all day. So the whole purpose of us being here this afternoon is really to be talking about channel forward and what is, that translates into driving your organizations forward when it comes to new opportunities, new partnerships, new technologies and services. So we want to jump right into this conversation today and get to know a little bit more about the three of you and your organization. So, Bobby, why don't I lob it over to you and you can take question number one?
I will say, Louise, and since you're sitting next to me, we'll start with you and then we'll work our way through it. Biggest challenges, because probably not just one, facing partners today selling cybersecurity solutions that you would see across the MSP spectrum?
That's a big question. There are many.
You're a big executive. You should be able to answer that.
I can't answer it. How much time do I have?
That's all right.
Okay. There's so many challenges with cybersecurity. Not only is there ransomware and phishing, and there's just so much to know. There's so many networks, there's so many applications, there's just so many tools and modules. Keeping up with everything as a service provider and knowing all of these different tools and all the sprawl is a tough challenge, and being able to understand all the threats and everything going on, compliance, all the rules. AI just adds a lot of complexity to it. I'm sure I saw your question there. We're going to talk about it.
Get to it.
Yes, there's just a lot to know. That's one of the biggest challenges.
It's absolutely, and I think everybody would raise their hand saying it's just an overwhelming time, but also a phenomenal time and opportunity. Ken, your perspective on the biggest challenges that, when your phone is ringing from partners that you're hearing?
Yeah, I think I would add to what Louisa said is the environment continues to change, but also within the channel, the environment continues to change. From MSP to MSSP, the entire co-sell motion is very complicated. When you think about what customers are doing, right, we all have to continue to think about customer outcomes, right? We have our channel initiatives, but at the end of the day, it's about customer outcomes. And even though the channel changes, we need to focus on the customer and delivering what they need in order to secure their environment.
Gotcha. Addie, welcome to the first time on the Power Panel, by the way.
Happy to have you.
Thank you.
We used to have this reserved for Frank, but I'm glad to have you. You only had so much more value than he
Very big shoes to fill. I don't know that my arsenal of crazy Frank stories is as great, but hopefully we can talk about cybersecurity well today. I was going to say it's very similar to what Louise said, and I think it's the same problem that we at Cato Networks are trying to solve for our customers, which is this huge proliferation of products. MSPs are grappling with that as well, right? If you're trying to go to market and offer managed SD-WAN, managed firewall, managed secure web gateway, DLP CASB, how do you, as experts for your customer, stitch all that together? So for us, we're trying to take something unique to market. It's not about bringing yet another point product to market. It's about changing the how. So it's not the what, it's the how do we address these challenges and how do we help you guys grapple with all of that by helping you move to more of singular platforms and things like that that just remove a lot of operational costs from your matrix.
So, Kel, before I throw it back to you, I just wanted to ask a follow-up question. Not everybody has to answer this, but Ken, maybe you, because you've been at this probably the longest, right, in terms of your career. You're probably going to surpass Frank as the godfather of the channel. Just want to let you know, prepare you for that. But
you heard it here first.
Based on what everybody here said, are you then in a position of fighting for more channel resources with the C-suite, with the board, right? To, I won't say answer all the challenges, but at least to address some of the challenges that the three of you guys have talked about, right? Because it's almost like you need an endless pot of money, right, for your partner community. So number one, are you knocking on the door of the CEO and CFO, and are they saying, yeah, we've got to find a way to fund that so you can move ahead?
So I'm going to take an opportunity to plug a Fortinet commercial here. Fortinet could do all that for you.
Little friendly competition.
Yeah, no, I think what we've done with the support of Ken Z and Michael Z as the co-founders of Fortinet, I have a monthly cadence with Ken. Okay. And I talk to him about the incremental value, the accretive value of the channel, and how you guys every day add value, whether it's knowing your customer, whether it's implementation of the solutions, you guys do that. And Ken and I talk about that and how do we expand and extend that through our channel partners. One of the concerns that I have is the number of certification requirements that we ask of you guys. We've got to rein that in. It makes us feel good about asking you for specializations and certifications, but we know that we're taking your people off, out of the field. We need to understand that to make it easier for you to do business and continue to drive those customer outcomes.
Great, good. So show of hands, who would agree with that comment about certifications, the pressures, just keeping up the investment? So you got a smattering of those. Good. Kel, back to you.
Yes, Addie, I'll start with you on this one. As the channel leaders and listening to everything we're talking about here on the panel and when Bobby and I talked about this morning, all of the trends that are impacting the channel, I think it's important for the audience to know what is keeping you personally motivated as you're running the channel for your organization.
Yeah, I tell people, and I'm really transparent when I'm interviewing new candidates. Cato Networks is $250 million company. We're up against some heavyweights and some big household names, right? And we think we've got a killer solution out there to address the needs of network and security for generations to come, but it's not without hard work. And so I tell people, I say, I've never worked harder in my life than in the past year that I've been at Cato Networks, because it is a fight for mind share and to get our brand more commonly known, right? But I've also never had more fun in my life than being at Cato Networks. And it is because I am seeing partners have this aha moment. We are sitting between kind of the second and the third generation of cybersecurity. The second generation was you built a fortress around the network and you had the firewalls, the VPNs, you had maybe a half dozen to a dozen other appliances. We are moving towards one of the biggest generational shifts in cybersecurity that the industry has seen, and that is this third generation, which is now it's consuming network and security. It's consolidating network and security. It's allowing people to move to a platform where you, as a managed service provider, can deliver SD-WAN, firewall as a service, SWG, DLP CASB, remote browser isolation, IoT, OT. You guys have the opportunity to get into businesses that maybe you've not been in yet, and you don't have to certify, to Ken's point, on yet another solution, on yet another vendor. There's a single platform that does all of that, and seeing partners understand that this is not only making their customers' lives easier, but it's fundamentally changing how they go to market, how they drive profitability, how they remove operational costs from their model. It is so fun to watch them have that aha moment.
Yeah, and there's a lot there to embrace and a lot of that change and growth. Louise, you wanted to address?
Wow, that was a lot. Yeah,
I know, it wasn't.
Good job.
It's hard to follow up on that.
Really good, yeah. So I'll add to that because I can't disagree with anything you said. I've been in the channel for a pretty long time and pretty proud to really lead with the channel in my career and really spent most of my career in cybersecurity. I think it's a fascinating place to be. I think you kind of wake up really thrilled about being in cyber and trying to figure out how to catch the bad guys or at least stop or at least help your customers. I'm really excited about working with our partners to really get to that point where we are their end customers are being supported by trend and all that we're doing. I think there are a lot of opportunities in the channel, a lot going on in cyber. I think it's just an exciting place to be, and there's so many opportunities, lots of room for growth. Unfortunately, cyber is massive. I say unfortunately because we're all affected by it. Fortunately, because it does give us a lot of opportunities with our channel partners, MSPs. There's a lot that's going on in this business.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Ken, let me turn things around a little bit based on, I think the answers that we got on what motivates, these executives on stage are good. But one of the things I heard were the initiative, picking up what Louise said, the initiatives you've got to, embed in your channel to grow partner revenue and partner profits, right? I know you've done some work on your programs. It doesn't come cheap. It doesn't come easy. What have you been doing in that regard to turn the opportunity that's out there into real dollars, right, from a program standpoint?
I mean, that's a great question, and I think it's near and dear to everyone in this room. I think as channel leaders, we have to make sure we don't approach it as one size or one program fits all. Right? I've got 7 different routes to market that actually roll into the channel, which actually includes e-commerce and the hypervisors. I've got to go to market differently with each one of them in order to make sure that they are profitable. I've got to also be able to listen to understand the changing needs of it and the changing needs of their customers. So one of the things that we're trying to do a better job at is listening to our partners to say, hey, what do you need from us? And how can we change the program that maps to your business? When we get to the point where we're selfish and we're not listening to our partners and they're listening to their customers, then we've missed the mark. So it comes back to what's happening on a daily basis. How do we change the programs to fit your business? I always walk into a meeting and I talk about where are we on the profitability matrix? How are we driving your business? Are we driving your business? There's this thing that I talk to the sales reps internally about is channel economics. Do you actually understand channel economics? Right. And you'll be surprised at how many leaders don't understand the economics of how you guys run your business. And that's critical, and we need to continue to build on that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Louise, let me just have you finish that and we'll turn it back to Kel. So as you said, you spent your career in cyber, right, and in channels. So when it comes to the programs and initiatives that you're signing off on now and looking at the ones in the future, where is your focus and what do you think the short-term and maybe long-term impact on this community is?
So it's changed quite a bit, even in the last, I'd say, 4 years. So Trend is a channel forward company. We have been for 30 plus years. I'm really proud of that. And we've gone from this evolution of a traditional channel model, traditional services model, and then we had this impact with marketplaces and cloud. And that really, really pivoted our business. We went all in on a number of different marketplaces, and that disrupted our distributor business. So you have to really look at, as Ken said, the economics of the channel. So we're going through all of this evolution and this transformation, and our partners are trying to figure out where do they fit in this whole transformation. And we get into this whole AI. And AI has really changed the game and has really given them some very, very powerful tools when it comes to what they can do, what they can see, all of the data that's available to them. But it also comes with some risk. So with that comes opportunity for our partners, but it also comes some responsibility. And I've seen this enormous shift from this traditional channel to a transformational channel to this one that I don't even know how to describe because I don't think we've even seen where it's going yet. We're just at the very, very start of it.
Yeah. Bob, do you mind if we stick with the AI question?
I'd like
the other panelists to answer this too. Because one of the questions I had was, comments on AI specifically for the cyber channel. The key AI initiatives within your organization that you're making. what does it mean for the partners? What are the opportunities? What are the threats? What are the things that they really need to be focusing on? Do you want to start with that, Addie?
Sure. I think if you think about, cybersecurity, first and foremost, it's a data problem, right? If you don't have visibility to all the data, it's really hard to detect, to respond, to understand new adversaries, new threats that are emerging. But even more importantly, maybe you have access to the data, but it's sitting in silos. One of the benefits of SASE is because all of those disparate point solutions are being converged into a single platform, a single data repository, a single data lake. Cato Networks, for instance, is able to do some really unique things with AI, machine learning, such that we are now driving a lot of proactivity into our partners' businesses by allowing them to get on the front end of threats, right? And so it's now not just about reacting or triaging. It's, hey, Cato has visibility into every single packet of traffic traveling our private global backbone. The ability to detect anomalies more rapidly than someone who's managing disparate solutions, siloed data sets is tremendous. And so when you look at what we're doing from an AI perspective, it's a lot of threat reporting, a lot of threat intelligence we're providing to partners. We have something called Cato Control, CTRL, you can Google. And we have chief cybersecurity strategists really looking at all the data riding our platform and getting way ahead of arming you with what's coming down the pipe that you need to be aware of for your customers.
And that's changing momentarily. Not daily, not weekly. Yeah. That's changing momentarily.
By the second it feels.
Ken?
I think we need to positively embrace AI and not be scared of it. Exactly. I think we need to use it to our advantage. Between the companies here, Trend, Cato, Fortinet, we've been gathering data. That's what we do based on when you're in cybersecurity, we gather the data. The correlation of the data, as you just mentioned, what does the data actually mean? We need to do a better job in communicating that and the threats and how we manage that. But I also like to make sure I tell people that the AI, when you think about that, there's still the human intervention in AI. And we need to recognize that that is the critical part of it. Deciphering, understanding it, it's great to have all the data, but then you need someone to be able to understand it and take that AI information and make the right decision. Because if you shut down your e-staff because of a vulnerability, guess who's getting that phone call, right? So it's how we use AI in order to make us all look smarter and look better, and to make sure that the experience is better for our customers.
So, Bob, do you mind if I just explain
No,
on
keep
that
going on AI. I like it.
When you think about, it's a lot for all of us to take in, right? And then you're helping to educate the partners. What do you feel the partner role is in educating their end user customers? Like, how far do they have to go down that pike so that your end user customers are aware of the threats, the opportunities, and the embracing of it? I know there's a lot there. Louise, do you maybe want to unpack that one to start?
Yeah, I think they're absolutely partially responsible for educating our end customers. We're responsible for making sure they're armed with all of that information, the tools, the programs, and everything we can get to them. But they're in turn, together with us, they have to be part of that solution to our end customers. Especially when you think about an MSP and they have all these downstream customers. Right. They are ripe for attack because you only have to go to one MSP and you can get to multiple different customers. So it is imperative that they understand where all those threats are, where the challenges are, and really, get ahead of, work with AI to be proactive, predictive, so that they're not at such a risk of being attacked and having their whole customer base blown up.
Louise, stick with that for a second. I'd like the other panelists to talk about it. Kevin McDonald is always telling me, Bob, when I talk to my fellow peers, my MSPs, I tell them to practice what they preach, right? Don't put something in a customer that you wouldn't use internally. Right. When you're talking to your partners, are you stressing the same and maybe requiring them to do that?
I'll
go ahead,
jump in.
Ken, Addie?
I think you're spot on. I think we have to be talking to our partners about that. Here's the challenge. Unfortunately, we do that after the fact. Yeah. That's part of the problem, right? When you guys are representing your customers, you want to know from us, from Fortinet, from the OEMs, what's happening before it gets to my customers. We've got to close that gap of communication in terms of getting you guys the information early so you can continue to be the knowledge experts with your customers. That's something that I know that I have to work on. It came up in our partner advisory meeting that this is something that we've got to get better at. Not just on the technical side, but even on the marketing side and on the sales side, we've got to be better at communicating to you guys what we do and how we do it.
And Ken, I have to imagine that for our partners out here that are, we know from the data we've collected, sort of the prime point of they're selling into the mid-market, right? But many are going into SMB and enterprise. And those different organizations are at different levels of sophistication sometimes, right, and what they can consume and understand, depending on the size of their business. So it's definitely a challenge for the partner community. It's great to hear the support they're getting from your organizations. Addie, anything you want to add to that?
I think when you look at the challenges we're talking to customers about, it's the same challenge many of you in the room likely have. We're hearing customers say, I can't keep up with the number of new CVEs coming out week over week, month over month. I can't keep up with patching and troubleshooting on-prem appliances. I have to do something different. And I have to imagine that as MSPs, there's a lot of burden on you as well, right? And when you talk about, Bob, are we asking MSPs to, kind of eat what we're serving,
eat their own
right?
dog food, yeah.
Yeah, eat your own dog food. I mean, in some degrees, I think what we see is MSPs that partner with us very quickly move their businesses to a platform approach too, because they see the impact it's having on the customers, and they want to benefit from that as well.
Good. Yeah. Well, Kel, we got to wrap. We are
and here
out
we are. I tell you,
time.
it goes so fast, right? So, folks, all of these organizations will be on our expo floor. So, please, I'm sure you all still have questions for our three panelists. By all means, stop by and see them on the floor. You can continue to engage in the conversation.
And please, a nice round of applause for the collective wisdom that's between Kelly and I.
Thank you so much.
And we covered a lot of ground. Thank you. Thank you all.